simple walkie-talkie app that has wide-ranging applicability, from saving lives in disasters to driving efficiency in business. This fall, rescue workers in Texas relied on Zello to find and save flood victims stranded by Hurricane Harvey. It became the communication hub for the Cajun Navy. Mr. Moore has been CEO of Zello for over 6 years, growing the company's user base to about 100 million. Mr. Moore is also the founder of the audio streaming service TuneIn, which offers thousands of radio stations on demand to more than 75 million users. And today we're going to talk about the power of internet apps like Zello to save lives during emergencies, and of course, the importance of the internet in enabling new technologies and companies like Zello. So, Bill, welcome very much. We're delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's give him a round of applause. Pleasure to be here. Tell us more about Zello. You have a free version and a paid version.
Sure. So as you explained, Zello is a walkie-talkie app. You download it, put it on your phone, and if anybody's had the thrill as a kid of playing with a walkie-talkie, it really brings that. Zello is about live voice communication. Our mission is to improve human flourishing through live voice communication, whether it's for companionship or cooperation solving problems. And it's such a fine medium to work with. You know, the internet today is a sterile, hostile place with lots of text and pictures. And live voice, as we are now, is wonderful because it's real. I can't fake. You know, pauses, not sure what to come up with. But that creates a level of intimacy that doesn't exist in text or photos or other style communication. Voice demands attention from radio, but instead of being, you know, one to many, it can be that, but it's about live, you know, conversations, peer conversations. And when you listen to Zello or listen to these channels, you hear the power in it that people have Zello campouts. They send us their Zello pictures. If you search Facebook for Zello, you'll see, you know, tens of thousands of these communities that come together. So it's a pretty easy decision to be able to help Alex in a way that he needed, this, you know, group of unbelievable talent from St. Petersburg, Russia, who needed some business help, and that was the point we moved to Austin.
So here in the room we have a lot of people engaged in internet technology, public policy issues, but we also have some entrepreneurs here, and online we have lots of people who are starting up their own tech companies. Any advice you'd give them? Well, you've had 2 successes.
Yeah, 2 successes, and I guess one major mistake was making decisions because you're afraid, because it's hard. And when I look back, most of my mistakes have been because of that, right? You're doing something because you're afraid of what may go wrong. And in the case of TuneIn, we really had no revenue model, and so there was good reason to be afraid for a long time. Independent, and so you know, happily with Zello, we have a wonderful revenue model, and both because I'm a little more experienced and mature, but also because there's cash in the bank, I'm not nearly as afraid, and so you find a revenue model, you know, that works where you're not dependent on outside money coming in for too long, because that's pretty risky business.
So these companies have a bit of a connection between the two as well. Radio has, in recent years, been viewed as kind of old tech, as opposed to electric cars or the Internet of Things. What is your take on that? Why is radio such an exciting innovation for you?
Well, I let off. It's radio's about voice, right? It's music, or it's news, or talk, or sports, or conversations, or podcast is a form of radio. It is such a fundamental part of being human, and so it's been around forever. And as radio, you know, or phone calls, is it AM, or is it FM, or is it ham radio, or CB radio? Is it satellite radio? You know, those are really incidental, but the medium itself is very exciting. It's as an advertising medium, it's phenomenal, right? It's somebody you trust, you know, in your head as a way of solving problems, as a way of passing time. And one of the great things about radio is it's a companion. You can enjoy radio, you can enjoy audio while you're doing something else. So unlike a video, you can be driving and listening, or running and listening. And so it's it's a medium that's always with you. And in the Zello version, it's a medium, as I explained, that has so much power to communicate compared to text, but it doesn't have the barriers or the cost of video. It doesn't have the social barriers. When are you going to turn on your Skype camera? It's a pretty high bar before most people are comfortable. Versus when would you turn on your microphone? So as a fundamental that we enjoy as humans, it's so important. Isn't going away. It's a great mix with technology. I'm so excited about Alexa and these new voice controlled applications, that are creating a whole nother wave of audio entertainment.
So TuneIn streams a lot of sports, including my favorite, Major League Baseball. And I'm wondering, is the future of TuneIn live events like sports or music and so on?
TuneIn has been anchored on live from the beginning, and it's one of the things that's so special about radio. It's live. It's happening now. There's something special about that. And of course, sports really demand live, and so in TV and radio both there's a recognition that's a core. Audio advertising is a pretty tough business. TuneIn's moved to be building a subscription option, which is great because it's also true for podcast and other, the talent on the other end. There's really still not yet a great digital market for audio ads, but sports is important, news, talk, and of course music.
Excellent. Good. Have time for some questions, Jerry?
Yeah, one question. Can you explain your infrastructure need when you say someone's, can talk while they're driving along? Is that passed to the cell network, or do you need a constant internet connection? What kind of bandwidth do you need?
Well, you need some kind of data connection. There was some bad information really at the start of Florida, the hurricanes. It worked without by magic, I guess. I don't know, but no, it needs a network. It could be any kind of network. It could be Wi-Fi, or it could be cell. But it works well on 2G networks, and it's worked well around the globe in countries that have really terrible networks. And it typically works when nothing else works. And so that's one of the reasons it's been popular in crisis situations. But you've got to have something.
More questions? Yes, sir.
Sure. My name is Kerry Hinton. I'm with the D.C. Public Service Commission. The federal government and states are investing, frankly, billions of dollars in deploying a nationwide FirstNet network. The description of Zello sounds like it would eliminate the need for that type of investment. Am I misunderstanding what your service provides?
Well, first responders need a reliable network. They need to be able to communicate between agencies. There's a need, I am sure, for FirstNet-style technologies. And I'm not that close to FirstNet. Our business traction is really in the commercial sector first, although we have some government business. These agencies need a network that's reliable, where they can communicate between organizations. It doesn't need to be radio. I think it's been tough for these agencies. As a citizen, you look at the amount of spectrum that's allocated for public service, for technologies that are reliable. They've been around a long time, but the real-life reliability of today's cell networks, are unbelievable. And so applications like Zello can ride over the top without all the money or complications, and certainly are well suited. Zello is well suited for citizens, and this match of citizens and agencies. I'm pretty excited about how can Zello help do better there.
I am informed we have time for one more question. Your hand went up first.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Lorelei Kelly. I'm at Georgetown. I work with Congress on bringing it into the 21st century, so I'd be really interested in hearing both of your opinions on this. So Congress is really not sort of not kept up with digital technology. Certainly, it's also just working at a 45% less capacity on expertise than it had in the 1970s.
How do you measure that?
I can actually get you the data.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. It's only been recently that there's been longitudinal data. It's things like 30 to 50% of hearings that are happening. So there's whole deliberative functions that have fallen off the radar screen for many reasons. The one idea that some of us have is that we create, through technology and data and social media, sort of C-SPAN Channel 4, which doesn't exist right now. But it would be a civic purpose channel that has sort of a curation purpose for Congress that sort of breaks through the sort of time and space restrictions that this old marble institution has, to find and locate optimal knowledge from people's own constituents in their districts. And I know, Mr. Goodlatte, you have been on top of the internet forever and was a co-founder of the Caucus in the 90s, I believe, when I worked on the Hill. And it seems like now it's possible to do this. But the problem is there's really no, as you put it, there's no revenue model for Congress. It's a public serving organization. And the privatization of this kind of service would be a disaster, I think, unless there were really strict rules put around it to protect it. Do you see this as something that possibly the technology and data industry might do on behalf of democratic institutions?
Well, yes, I guess would be the short answer. What's realistic? How much, can we help? One of the lessons from Harvey back to something scale is these self-organizing with the right infrastructure and the right rules respond to meet the needs of society in such a wonderful way, right? I mean, of course, a free market is based on that principle. Not totally. Would a Wikipedia-style market work for the public dissemination and orchestration and of that? I don't know. So that's way outside of my zone of expertise. But I know at Zello, we're totally satisfied when you see what you've worked on be used for good and make a difference in society. And I am sure that's true for most every other technology business.
So there's a challenge for both of us. So I think we are the last thing standing between you and lunch. And therefore, we're going to get out of the way. And Tim will, or someone will tell you how to go about getting lunch.
Thank you.
Good work. That was very good.
Thank you.